Right now we're joined by Anthony Payton, head coach of the Massachusetts Pirates. I wouldn't call this week a must-win, but it's maybe your most important game of the year.
You know, like I said before in our previous interviews, every game right now is a must game. You know, it tells me where we are as a team, you know. And so it's very important for us to finish this thing out with wins, you know. We have to get better every single time, you know. And it's so, I told the team this morning, when we first played Jacksonville, they were a veteran team. When we were green, we was green as can be. But we've gone from green to good in a span of, 10, 12 weeks. And I'm so proud of that. But the hard part now is going from good to great, you know, and that distance from being green to good is a bigger distance, but it's easier ground to cover. But that distance between good to great is a smaller distance, but it's a harder ground to cover. And so it is a big thing that we really concentrate on locking on everything we have to do. We got to do everything right, and I feel like that's what's gonna push us over the edge.
When we take a look at game plans, I think one of the most constant teams in the league has been the Jacksonville defense. And they're giving up less than 40 points a game, and that's in arena football, that's almost unheard of.
It's good, you know, and that's just a compliment to Cy and those players he has down there. He knows what he's doing. He coached on one of the greatest coaches in this league in Kevin Guy. You know, I played for Kevin Guy. Great guy. He knows what he's doing. He set a lot of trends in this league. And so I respect that greatly. You know, they play a lot of man. They got a great defensive pass rush, you know, but we have to go out and do what we do. And that's going to give me a temperature of how hot we are. You know, are we really as good as we believe we are, or are we just playing teams that we're just better than? And so now the test comes from being a great player, a great coach, great coaching staff, great team. Is do you beat the teams that you are not supposed to beat on paper, or do you beat the teams that are holding teams to 40 points? That's what's going to really show us if we're ready.
We're talking with Anthony Payton, head coach of the Massachusetts Pirates. And you mentioned it in the post-game interview this past weekend. You've won games with your defense. You've won games with offense. Now you've won games with special teams. So that message the team has sent to you is that no matter who it comes down to, who you have to rely on, they can get that job done.
It's a beautiful thing, you know, and I'm so proud of those guys. You know, Mike came out and I put it in his hands. And if no one heard this, but before the half, we went for it on with like a few seconds left to go. You know, I wanted to kick because I wanted to see if Mike's mind was going to be right for the end of the game, because I had a feeling that game was going to come down to the wire. You know, and I decided to change my mind. You know, Jawad came over and told me, said, man, you don't want to go for it on this? You know, he put that in my head at the same time. I'm like, you know what, I know you can score, so let's go ahead and just, go for it. I had something in the bag that we could score on. Sean made a great play, of course. You know, but at the same time, I'm in the back of my mind, people don't understand how many things go on in my mind. I'm like, this kid kicked the Wake Forest, and he has so many records. He did so many great things. I'm going to put it in his hands at the end of the game if it comes down to it. And he got the job done. And so now I trust him, you know, and I wouldn't go back and change anything. I would kick again if we had to do it again.
So what does Anthony Payton want to see this week against the Jacksonville Sharks?
I just want to see us play together as a team. You know, no matter if we get down, no matter if we up, I want us to keep our foot on the gas and just keep playing. You know, and that's hard for some teams to do. You know, when you feel like you've arrived. You know, I have to keep. You know, the hard part for me is to praise these guys, but at the same time keep beating that sword and making it sharp. You know, and so it's a fine line between being tough on them and loving them. You know, at the same time though, I just want us to play as a team and support one another no matter what happens, you know. And that right there can be difficult sometimes, because these guys, you got to remember, these guys are young now. They haven't been through all the stuff that we've been through, and so it's hard to sit there and say, hey, I want you to focus. We need to play hard, and they'll get into that quote unquote immature mindset and think they've arrived, and then that is when you lose opportunities. And so my biggest thing for this week is just to make sure we keep our foot on the gas, stay focused until that clock says 000.
It's Anthony Payton, head coach of the Massachusetts Pirates.